Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It's your guy, Boulanger. Up next in this video, we're going to be dealing with the Aaron Rodgers trade to the Jets, and does it have an impact on the Baltimore Ravens? Before we get started, man, do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so that you can keep getting updates when we upload new videos. Let's go. So, definitely saw the news come through yesterday that the Jets had acquired Aaron Rodgers. Wasn't surprised. Did not know if it would happen before or after the draft, but I certainly believed that it would happen. Partly because I think the Packers are certainly ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers, and I think the Jets were desperate to upgrade at quarterback, so they got the deal done. And I did hear a little bit of talk, sports media, whatever, about, what this means for the Baltimore Ravens. Does it mean that they'll hurry up and get a deal done with Lamar Jackson, that kind of thing? And I don't think that the Aaron Rodgers trade uh, pushes Baltimore to be in any kind of hurry, no more than what they should already be to get something done before the draft. Probably doesn't happen, but I don't think that the Aaron Rodgers trade does that. But the impact I think the Aaron Rodgers trade does have on the Baltimore Ravens is that it takes them out of the playoffs. Okay. We understand that the Baltimore Ravens certainly could have won the division last year if Lamar Jackson was healthy. We certainly believe that they could have been in contention, you know, if Lamar Jackson was healthy. But I don't know how likely to win the Super Bowl would have been with all the wide receivers going down midways to the year. And so, um, but it was what it was, okay? But when we look at where the Baltimore Ravens are today, I'm not looking at, okay, what will happen if they sign Lamar. I'm not looking at what will happen if they make a trade. I'm not looking at what will happen if they go get a DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not looking at any of that. Just today, if you look at how a team is constructed, who is actually signed, who is actually on the roster, that kind of thing, the New York Jets are a better team top to bottom than the Baltimore Ravens. And so if I just had to take an assessment of the playoffs 1 through 7 last year, I would have to take Baltimore out at number 6 and slot the New York Jets in. Okay. Because in fact, the Ravens are exactly where they were at the end of the year anyway. Lamar Jackson was not there. Therefore, they had to be led by Tyler Huntley. They're exactly there now. You know, all that other stuff is the potential to happen. I'm just talking about what is happening right now. And so right now, I have to take Baltimore out of the playoffs and put the Jets in their spot. Now, that doesn't mean the Jets finish at 6. I certainly think the Jets have the potential to win the AFC East. Not saying Super Bowl, but I certainly think they have a chance to win the AFC East, okay? Now, let's break down why this is. Okay, let's look at the top from last year's playoffs. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs, they don't move. Okay. They lost some pieces, but they brought in pieces to replace those guys. And in some aspects, the pieces they brought in may be a little better than the guys they lost. I certainly think Jawan Taylor is a better offensive tackle than Orlando Brown. So it seemingly is an upgrade even at that position. Okay. So Kansas City doesn't slide. Okay. Will there be an Eric Bieniemy fall off since he's now with the Commanders? Maybe, but we don't know that. So as of right now, just purely based on roster construction, coaching staff, so on and so forth, Chiefs are still at the top. Okay. Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are a little more vulnerable going into 2023. Again, this is a right now assessment, but I certainly think they don't fall on their face and have a huge decline in production. And so, do I think they make the playoffs as we stand right now? Yes, I do. Okay. Who is number 3? Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals have some losses, especially on the defense. But I think that they secured the left tackle, although I don't think he's the best in the game, but I think Orlando Brown is certainly an upgrade from what the Bengals have had in the past. So, do I think the Bengals fall off? I don't, because they basically are going to put the same offensive talent on the field. Now, I had them as a pretender, but I certainly don't think that they fall off and out of the playoff race. So I had to slot them back right back where they were. Jacksonville was number 4. Jacksonville is certainly still the best team in the AFC South. There's no question to that. And the addition of Calvin Ridley makes them even more solidified at the top of the AFC South. So I got to put them back in at number 4. Okay, so the top 4 teams are still playoff teams as of right now. Okay, then when we jump to number 5, I think the Cleveland Browns, I think the Denver Broncos will challenge or could challenge the Chargers for that number 5 spot, just based on the work that they've done in this offseason. Okay, so I'm going to slide the Chargers down to 6, Baltimore to 7, but then that leaves Miami at 7. Well, Miami is certainly a playoff team. So I got to at least put them in above Baltimore. Now Baltimore's number 8. So Baltimore is on the outside. Well, I haven't mentioned the New York Jets yet. The New York Jets, as currently constructed, are a playoff team. So I got to slot them in somewhere. So let me put them at number 5 and take the Browns off, just based on where we sit today. That pushes the Baltimore Ravens further down to 9 or 10. The point that I'm making is that without a side Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens are vulnerable. Okay? And the Baltimore Ravens have some vulnerabilities even with Lamar Jackson. And I think right now, the teams that I've mentioned, the teams that made the playoffs last year, I think that Miami is better than Baltimore right now, which moves them above Baltimore. I think the New York Jets are better than Baltimore right now, which moves them above Baltimore. I think the Cleveland Browns right now, as currently constructed, are a little better than Baltimore. Okay. And I certainly think the Bengals, who are in the division, of course, who won the division last year, are still better than Baltimore as of right now. I understand we played them tough last year, but as currently constructed, please hear me. Don't super analyze me. Just hear me. I'm talking about right now, as free agency is entering its 6th week. Okay. There is no big time free agents left. There is a lot of quality guys who can add big time depth and even make an impact. So I'm talking about current roster construction. We have more questions in Baltimore than we have answers. What are our questions? Our questions are at cornerback. Our questions are at edge rush. Our questions are at left guard. And then I think we still have a question at wide receiver. Yes, we added 2 depth pieces for sure. We added a potential number 1 guy, but I think that there's still some work to be done there. Okay. And then we have a huge hole at quarterback. So we are super vulnerable. And these teams who already have a team that they already have players that they can put on the field next year, which makes a team, they're just better than us right now. And I think Aaron Rodgers adds the Jets to that mix. If the Jets were rolling out with Zach Wilson, I couldn't put them above Baltimore. But they have that guy, Aaron Rodgers, in place. And I think that makes them better than Baltimore. I think Miami's better than Baltimore. So even if we just take those 2 teams, slot them above Baltimore, at the worst, that moves Baltimore to 8th. But what Cleveland's done, what the Steelers have done, what the Broncos have done, Baltimore could slide all the way to 10, 11, or 12 even. Now that I really think about it. So listen, that's my take, man. Let me know what you guys want me to know about the Aaron Rodgers impact and where you think Baltimore really is in AFC rankings. I'm your guy, Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.